What's up, everyone? This is the Siteman Softball Podcast, episode number 1. I'm David Siteman Garland, and welcome to the show. And at this point, I would probably plug a sponsor. The show is brought to you by XYZ, but we do not have a podcast sponsor yet, but we will have podcast sponsors. Trust me, that will absolutely be happening. But this is the very first show. It's kind of a teaser. I want to talk a little bit about the show. I've got some cool news about for those that follow us on Facebook and check it out. We got these pink jerseys. I want to talk a little bit about that because there's going to be an opportunity to get one here this October. And let's just get at it. So, just to give a little bit of context about the show is, I'm a big believer that you can't choose your passion. Your passion chooses you. And for whatever weird reason, for me, one of my big ones is slow pitch softball. You know this, right? That's why I run teams and play, and that's what I do. And it's funny, you don't choose it. It kind of chooses you and what you want to do. So I thought it'd be a lot of fun to do a show, and I just want to give some kind of context on a few things and how the show's going to work and where you can subscribe, and we'll talk jerseys and all that kind of cool stuff in this episode. So first of all, there is going to be an audio and video version of every single one of these episodes. So this is, if you're watching it, yay, you're on video. If you're listening, guess what? You're on audio. But here's the interesting thing is that I will make sure that we have a page set up on the Siteman Softball website where you can see all the past episodes. You can even listen to them there, and it'll have all the places that you can subscribe. So we're going to be everywhere. We're going to be on Apple Podcasts. We're going to be on Spotify. We're going to be on all kinds of different places. The link is going to be sitemansoftball.com/podcast. So sitemansoftball.com/podcast. Now, as I publish this very, very first episode, if you are watching this within, a couple hours of this first episode going up, I don't know if that page will be up quite yet, but it's going to be very soon, so make sure to check back, and you can see all the ways you can subscribe. You can go in the car. If you don't want to look at this mug, you can just listen. Whatever you want to do, we got it all set up for you there, all the different ways to subscribe. And on the video side, obviously Facebook, because that's where a lot of you guys hang out. So Facebook is going to be a big spot for every podcast to be posted here, video format on Facebook, and also YouTube as well. So we'll have some links to that. And over time, it's just going to evolve into a regular schedule, right? So this is the first episode. This is the teaser. Then we're going to kind of go from there. It's going to eventually evolve. And, I've done podcasts before. I'll talk about that in a second. But it's going to evolve to be, consistent in terms of day of the week and time and stuff like that. So we'll get to that. It's sometimes with a lot of these things, you have a plan and you just got to get started before everything's perfect, right? Now, before we talk about kind of the format of the show and some other kind of cool stuff, I want to talk a little bit and give a couple shout outs here. I want to talk about these jerseys. So I hold it up here. Hopefully you can see it. This is mine. This is the Siteman Breast Cancer jerseys, and we did these breast cancer awareness jerseys, and they got a huge hit at B Worlds and A Worlds, and since we're putting stuff up on social media, and people kept asking, how can I get one? Where can I get one? And we really didn't have plans to have them other than the team. But I kind of put the thinking cap on. I thought, well, what if we could turn this into a charity fundraiser? What if we could do something really cool with this and make it go directly towards breast cancer research? So talk to the Siteman Cancer Center. And what we're going to do is I'll tell you about the prices and what we're going to do here in a second. But what we're going to do is all the proceeds from these jerseys are going 100% to breast cancer research. Okay, 100%. So what I want to give a shout out here, why that's possible, is because of a couple reasons. One, Dustin Hampton. So I want to give a shout out to Dustin Hampton at Legendary Sports Apparel. He is doing this all at cost. He's not making any money on it. We're not making any money on it. It's all going directly to charity. So that means $20, that's the after cost, is going for every single item that you buy is going to go directly to breast cancer research at the Siteman Cancer Center, okay? Now, let's get into the details. I posted about this because on Facebook because I didn't want us to do this and then, we sell 7 jerseys or something like that, right? Because that would be a big, cluster. I'd rather have us sell a ton of them so we can raise a lot of money for charity. So we post this on my page, so my players posted on their pages, and the feedback was huge between messages and stuff. People wanted these, so it's absolutely happening, and I'm going to give you the details on how you can order and then when you need to order by, okay? So Jersey, just like this, $35. $35, okay? Jersey, you can get a number on the back. There's my number. Or if you don't want to get a number on the back, that's cool too. It actually looks great also without a number. See, it's just the breast cancer insignia there, right? So you can go number, no number, whatever fits, the bill. Also, you can get a long sleeve jersey. So picture the jersey, but wait for it, long sleeves. So same jersey, but in long sleeves. That's going to be $40. So jersey $35, long sleeve jersey is $40. And then for those that want the ultimate warm experience, we got the hoodies. The hoodies are $50. So jersey $35, long sleeve jersey is $40, hoodie is $50. Okay. And like I said, $20 from every single sale goes directly to breast cancer research at the Siteman Cancer Center. And this is all possible because our good buddy Dustin Hampton at Legendary Sports Apparel is doing literally for this a cost. And just get these cool jerseys out there and, let's help out some people as well. So the most important thing, how do you order and when can you order? So orders are officially open. And what you're going to need to do is you're going to need to contact Matt Petrov on Facebook. I'll link him up here below. He's going to be taking all the orders and doing all the organization on this on Facebook. Now, if for some reason you can't find him or you need to reach out to me, that's fine. Go ahead, hunt me down. We'll get this all ordered. Then we're going to do them in one big order. And then once they're ordered, it's going to be about 3 to 4 weeks. Now, I'm putting fingers crossed on that. 3 to 4 weeks for delivery. Okay, and it's perfect because we're doing this now in October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. So you just need to contact Matt Petrov, and he'll talk to you if you want to get it delivered or if you want to pick it up or whatever. Give him a shout sooner than later because here is the deadline. I got to get my phone out for this. So I want to make sure I get the date right. Here's the deadline. You need to make sure that they're ordered by Tuesday, October 26th at, let's call it midnight Central. Okay, so get your orders in before then. You got all sizes. You can get men's, women's, kids, whatever you want to do. Go for it. And then we're going to be placing that order on the technically the 27th, right? We're not going to be placing an order at midnight. That'd be a little weird. But we're going to do it on the 27th. But the deadline is the 26th at midnight. So I want to see as many of these as we possibly can and do some good and wear some cool jerseys, okay? So that is the most important agenda here today on the podcast is I want to make sure to mention that so as many people know as possible, okay? Now, back to Talking Podcast. It's a podcast about talking podcasts, right? So here on the Softball Podcast, you guessed it, it's going to be all about softball, right? And most of the shows are going to have guests, okay? Most of the shows are going to have guests, and it's going to be a mix. We'll bring in some pro players. We'll bring in some major conference players. We'll bring in some cool people like that, chat with them, talk about the game, talk about themselves. There'll be a lot of cool stuff to talk about. Always interesting to talk to pro players. I'll also probably have a lot of people in the industry. So equipment people, different types of things, maybe gloves, other stuff like that. So kind of people inside the softball industry. I think will be very interesting. Of course, Siteman players. I'm sure I'm going to have some players on here, other cool folks like that in the softball community, and also influencers in the space. I don't really love the term influencers, but we all know what it means. People that are heavily involved in the softball community, the John Kings of the world, other people like that, bat reviewers and different things like that. We're going to get them on here and hang out as well. So it's going to be quite a variety, and also I'm going to do a lot of things behind the scenes as well. So you'll kind of get to hear a lot of behind the scenes about our team, Siteman, and, kind of talk about our season as we go into 2021. There'll be, recaps of things. We'll talk about upcoming tournaments. We'll talk about that stuff. We've got some ginormous plans for 2022. I said 2021. 2022, we have some ginormous plans that are being put in place. I wish I could spill all the beans right now and talk about everything, but really the season's just wrapping up. So let's all catch a breath, and then we're going to have the reveal soon about all the stuff that we're planning on 2022, and I am pumped about that, to say the least. So we'll be talking about that here on the show as well. Okay. Last thing, and then I'll remind the links on the way out, is, a little context for everybody, because I realize people that are watching and listening to this might not know a ton about me or what I do or what's going on. I just want to give a quick background on podcasting and web shows for me is that I would love to say that I was so forward thinking and so creative and so smart, but really kind of lucky that I had one of the first ever podcasts and web shows back in 2008 into 2009. Just a little bit of background is that I had a local television show here in St. Louis that was all focused around business and kind of young entrepreneurs. We would interview people and business owners, and it was on the show. It was on, actually it was on ABC 30 on Sunday mornings, and it got replayed a few different times as well. So I did a show, and then people kept saying, well, let's bring it all online, right? We don't need, you can get a bigger reach online. So I started doing a show online that was kind of about business and entrepreneurship and brought it to social media, brought it online in the very, very early days. And it was kind of one of the first video podcasts. There weren't very many podcasts at all, let alone video ones. And it was an interview style show, and did that for many years. It started in 2008. I think the last episode was, I got to go back and check, maybe 2013, 2014, 1,000 plus episodes of the show. Was a blast before I kind of turned on to other focuses on the business, but really enjoyed that. Actually, quick funny story was that it was very difficult back then to do video interviews online, right? Because it was brand new. It was brand new. There wasn't Zoom. There wasn't any of the easy tools that we have now. Really, the closest thing we had was Skype, right? And so the first interview, I'm trying to figure out how can I record myself and the guest, because doing online interviews is great because someone could be at home in their pajamas. We don't have to be flying around or flying people into a studio or do anything like that. You can do it all online, right? So I remember our very first interview was with a gentleman named Peter Shankman, who had a great website at the time called Help a Reporter Out. And we had this amazing interview, and it was very complicated. We were trying to figure out the software. We're trying to figure out this and that. It was like an unbelievable 1-hour interview and all the inner workings of Peter and all this cool stuff. And then I go to edit it and take a look at it, and guess what? It only recorded me. Awesome. So we lost the entire interview the first time we did it, but there's a will, there's a way. Went back, redid it, turned out awesome. Rest was sort of history. But that was kind of my background in terms of podcasting the show. And at the peak of that show, we had somewhere around over 100,000 listeners per month, actually a little bit more than that. And that was a lot of fun. And this show, I'm just looking forward to sharing with the softball community, having a blast, doing something a little bit different outside the box, and have some fun with it. So that's going to be the Siteman Softball Podcast here. This is episode number 1. And reminder, on those links, right? Go to sitemansoftball.com/podcast. Can't guarantee it's up quite yet, depending on when you listen to this, but go take a look at it. That's going to have a audio player on there. It's going to have links to all the places that you can watch and listen to the show. We're going to make this a big thing. And of course, if you like this and you enjoy it, whatever platform you're on, let's say you're on Facebook, if there's a share option, always appreciate you sharing some love and sharing this out, and make sure that everyone in the softball community that would be interested in this would like to hear it. All right. At some point, I'm sure I'm going to have an amazing catchphrase on the way out, but I do not right now, but I'll think about that. We'll have that next time. See you next time. It's been David Siteman Garland here on the Siteman Softball Podcast. And cue future music. We don't have music yet. We'll have music. I promise. See ya.